Welcome back to another Ratface 44 Reviews. My name is James, and today we have G.I. Joe Classified Series, Tele-Viper, and Cobra Flight Pod, The Trouble Bubble. So let's get this started! So before we get this started, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, share with your friends. We do fun action figure things here. So before we open up the Tele-Viper and Flight Pod, let's take a look at the artwork on the packaging. So as you can see, there is a digital render of the Tele-Viper with the Trouble Bubble, with a bunch of little Trouble Bubbles flying in the background, some palm trees, mountains, cloud, and on the front here you have a nice piece of artwork of the Tele-Viper. Not too bad. I do like everything else, but his face is a little strange. You have all the accessories on the side here, and on this side of the packaging you see the same type of artwork. I like the purple background, it's really cool, with the kind of red shadows on the side of his head. Number 79 in the line. And on the back of the packaging, you'll see another digital render of the figure with the accessories and the Flight Pod, Trouble Bubble. Tele-Viper is 6.3 inches tall, and they even have the height of the Trouble Bubble here, 5.8 inches tall. Got some zoom-in shots here of some aspects of the figure and Flight Pod. You got his little readout on his wrist, the back of the Flight Pod, and the shoulder with the Cobra symbol on it. Boring stuff at the bottom. G.I. Joe logo on the top. Oh yeah, there's G.I. Joe logos and Cobra logos and Hasbro logos. Logos everywhere. So I got my trusty scalpel here. Let's go ahead and open it up. I know I'm a little bit late to the game, but this is a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, and this takes a little bit of time to get here to Canada. I did get it a good 2-3 weeks ago. There you go. It's going to be a lot of stuff in here. Let's see if I can pull this out. There you go. And here is the large box of accessories. Here's a big long sentence here. Tele-Viper, Cobra Flight Pod, Trouble Bubble, in brackets, 79. Quick shot of the Tele-Viper and the Trouble Bubble in here. Very cool. Go ahead and see what's in this foot locker. We got some divisions with packages of accessories here. Let's see what's in here. Something out. So we got the jetpack for the Trouble Bubble. And we have all the little bits all in one hand. Awesome. So we got something wrapped up in here. Let's take the trusty scalpel and cut it open. So let's go ahead and take a look at the accessories from smallest to biggest, like we always do in this channel. First off, we have some little bits here. Not sure what these are. These look like little fins. We got this bomb. Really cool. Has some nice detailed red highlights and sculpted kind of pins. Kind of like a depth charge where if it hits, it'll just ignite the thing. Very cool. Check that out. Number 6 or number 9 have some sort of lettering on here that I can't read, unfortunately. Next we have 2 of these missiles. These are very reminiscent of the vintage. We have Tele-Viper's weapon, which is really cool. This is definitely reminiscent of the vintage. And speaking of vintage, I will have the vintage Tele-Viper later on in this video. And next we have a hose. Just a hose, has a couple of ends on it. And we have the gun that we saw earlier. Very cool sculpted detail. Some hoses, some technical looking things, valves, and some texture right here. And you got the gun barrel. And next we have Tele-Viper's backpack. Has some cool purple highlights at the top, kind of buttons and whatnot. Got an antenna. This is definitely reminiscent of the vintage, of course. but probably highly more detailed. We'll have a comparison later on. And we got the first head. Kind of has the black visor with kind of red, infrared type of eyes on the mask here. It's purple, has some really cool black detailed, sculpted detail here. Very cool. I like this head. Kind of wish I got 2 of these, but this set is pretty expensive. And the second head, got the teeth showing here. He looks pretty angry. Silver visor, same type of detail that's on the other head, but a little bit different on the back, which is really interesting. The same kind of looks like a little strap that goes on the top of his head, and the chin type of chin strap. Very cool. So never mind about the smallest to biggest thing. I completely forgot about the jet engines that come with the flight pod. These are separate. We'll join them together in just a moment. So let's go ahead and take out Tele-Viper and the flight pod. So here's a closer look of the artwork inside of the package. Same artwork on the cover and on the side, but in a larger format in black and white. Very cool. Check that out. That's awesome. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at the flight pod here. Let's go ahead and, I guess, arm it up. Put it together, I should say. So let's go ahead and put on these jet engines. I believe they just kind of pop in here. I wish this would come with some instructions. It would be nice to have, just in case. There's one thing I was looking at when I was taking it out of the box. There's like these little slots with a little bit of you got to kind of line it up, and it's very strange that it doesn't really want to stay in. I don't want to force it. So it's like on a hinge here with this clear bubble on the top. So the gun, I know there was I heard in the grapevine that this might be a little bit tricky to put in. I think I'm just going to need to heat it up, so just give me a moment. So I just heat up the gun here so the peg would fit a little bit easier, and it kind of just popped right in, as you can see. So it will cool down and get a little bit tighter, I hope. There's one thing I forgot to mention here. There is a little door on this bomb, so it kind of just slots right in. Sort of. Yeah, there it goes. Kind of just slots in just like that. You can open it up and it flies away. But it's really unclear where to put this bomb. I looked on the box, looked on the packaging, see if there's any kind of picture to see where to put it, and it doesn't show. I've seen people do a modification to this. They put it on a magnet and it kind of just like clips on like right here on the back. But it's yeah, maybe I'll figure it out later where to put it. I think I remember the vintage one having it connect somewhere. So we got these little fins. I'm assuming they go on the side just like that. They are not very, you know, they look like they would just fall right out. Maybe I'm not putting enough pressure on it to pop it in. Yeah, that's kind of annoying. They're very loose. Yeah, they just fall out. Maybe I'm just not putting enough pressure on it. But that's where they go. So we got 2 missiles. Let's go ahead and put the missiles on. These are missile holders. I get it now. Very cool idea, but I wish they would kind of stay in better. Maybe some sticky tack, or if you want to glue them on, you can go ahead and glue them on. But they do not stay in very well, which is very disappointing. So under further inspection, this looks like an underwater mine. As I was saying about the little triggers here, you know, as soon as it touches something, it explodes. So let's go ahead and take a little bit of a closer look at the trouble bubble here. Very cool details. I love the technical details on this vehicle. I should say, should I call it a vehicle? I guess it is a vehicle, but you know, see, these things just don't stay in very well at all. So as I was saying, there is a kind of a clear canopy on this that doesn't fit in very well. I don't really want to force it. I'm not going to bother putting that back in. So first off, this trouble bubble is all done in this gray plastic, really classic color. It has a digital readout like I was saying before. There is a kind of like, it looks like some sort of readout screen on the handlebars here. Very, very reminiscent of the vintage, of course. Some cool paint application. It's kind of gray technical vents and whatnot. It's on a hinge, so you can move it out of the way, so you could, you know, put the figure in here with these seat belts. Very cool. I like that. There's actual peg. That's awesome. Got some seat details here. Check that out. And you got all these little technical little knobs and digital readout screens and rivets that kind of go along the top, as you can see. Nice cool little paint applications. Very strange. There is like this looks like an engine of some sort of intake engine here, and on the side here there isn't one. It's just a square thing, so it's not really the same on both sides. Some technical detail on the bottom, some rivets and whatnot. There's some fins that are on the bottom. The gun fit in perfectly after I heated it up. On the other side, you can see some technical molded detail right here. A little bit of red paint application, SB. Got fuse and really, really tiny lettering right there. Looking at the jet engines here, there's a lot of really cool technical detail on here and paint applications. Cobra symbol, there is a number with the letters and stuff like that underneath. Rivet detail, and on the bottom here there are some directional fins that kind of pivot left to right on a hinge, which is really cool detail. And on this side of the engine there is a Cobra symbol, and you have some Sky Strikers here. I'm guessing this is the amount of Sky Strikers have been taken down by Cobra. And there is some paint application here. Danger, arrow pointing down, hot exhaust on both sides. Very cool. I like this. I love the Cobra symbol. It looks freaking amazing. So that's it with the trouble bubble. Very cool. We'll have a vintage comparison. I do have a vintage trouble bubble. Later on in this video, we'll take a look. So let's go ahead and take a look at the figure. So far I was looking over the body. I'm fairly certain this is a brand new mold. Maybe the arms is eels, like underneath with like an overlay on it. It's hard to say. So let's go from top to bottom and take a look at the style and aesthetics of this action figure, Tele-Viper. So the head sculpt, very, very vintage looking head sculpt. Very similar to the extra heads that we just looked at. Let's go ahead and take a look at the other one here. I think it's the same head sculpt, just a different color, but it's exactly the same. So he has a black neck, and you can see that there is a collar for his blue shirt. Purple vest, rolled up sleeves, and on his shoulder, of course, there is a Cobra symbol. You got a nice little digital readout on his wrist. Check that out. Looks really cool. I like this figure a lot. But yeah, like I was saying, like this, I think this is a brand new sculpt. I looked at a bunch of my classified figures. I'm pretty sure this is all brand new. So he has this purple vest with some black highlights on it. Got some straps on the side. Some black detail here with some texturing. Port for his backpack. We'll go ahead and gear him up just in a second. He has a belt with some purple pouches. Floating belt. Not too loose, which is really good. Got some black technical detail sculpted on the belt. Pretty plain crotch, sculpted in pockets on the butt, pockets on the side, some wrinkle sculpted details, double jointed knees and elbows, of course. You got the boot swivel down here, purple and black. You got some black straps, got some black toe caps there. That's really cool. It looks exactly like the vintage. Alright, so let's go ahead and gear up Tele-Viper. So we got his backpack. I know one of these port in here, like the hose ports in just on the top here, and the hose will port into his weapon. Let's go ahead and plug in that. It's very snuggly, not very flush, but it's fine. Looks fine to me. It doesn't look like it's gonna fall out. And we got the hose that plugs into the radar gun, disruptor, whatever you want to call it. It's a very strange weapon. I know it's something to do with disrupting communications, or even reading, spying on communications, reading the communique airwaves. That looks awesome. Check that out. I am liking this figure a lot. Hopefully Hasbro will re-release him and single carded on a retro card. That would be very cool. Let's go ahead and swap out the head. Fits on pretty well, no pop. Check that out. Awesome. Let's go ahead and put on the other one, the faceless version. So I'm going to go ahead and heat up the other head. I'm having a little bit of trouble putting it on. See how it fits. Yeah, it looks like it fit in, but no pop. Yeah, it's on. That looks really cool. So I was going to go over some articulation. I just want to take a look at the butterfly shoulder joints. They do move really well. They did a good job with the motion with the shoulder joints. Everything is pretty much the same, you know, and the boot swivel is a very nice touch. I like that. It's a little low because he has smaller boots, but everything else is exactly the same for typical for a G.I. Joe classified. And like I was saying, this body seems like it's a brand new mold. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comment section down below, but I'm fairly certain that this is a brand new mold. So let's see how Tele-Viper fits in the flight pod. He'll probably be in there permanently. So here is the belt strap. So Hasbro can do belts with peg and hole, so that's really cool. Wish they would do that with the vests and web gears and whatnot, so we can take them off, take them apart, swap them out. That is really cool. I want to try to put these, try to slot this in again. Seems like one fits in really well. One keeps popping out. I think it's the plastic that's forcing its way out. That's the best I can do it. These are useless and they drive me nuts. So I'm probably going to get some sticky tack and let's go ahead and do a vintage comparison. So here's my little army of vintage Tele-Vipers. Every time I see them in the store or in a flea market or even a garage sale, I have to pick up a Tele-Viper just to increase my army. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of a comparison with the modern classified Tele-Viper and the vintage. Check that out. That is pretty awesome. They got the colors on point. Wicked. Check out the radar gun. Pretty much the same. Got the hose. Backpack is pretty much the same. Of course, the classified one has a paint application on the backpack. Same antenna. Exactly. That's pretty awesome. Got the Cobra Tampo on the shoulder. Got that. You got more paint detail, of course, on the classified. I could see there's the vintage does have a silver belt buckle, as a classified does not. That's kind of a miss for not having a silver belt buckle. That would have been really cool. And the elephant in the room is the arms. You know, they made him have like this black type of arms, you know, so he can be the any soldier, which is I do definitely appreciate, because you could swap him out and you can make him any nationality. That's really awesome. So I got my vintage scrappy looking Trouble Bubble here. It is not complete. It is missing everything. It's about to fall apart. You can see as we do a comparison here that there is a gun on this type of turret type of thing. Same type of handlebars, which is really cool. You know, they added the digital readout. I'm pretty sure that the vintage one had a sticker you could put on. I'm missing the jetpacks because we can't compare those, unfortunately. But that's my vintage Trouble Bubble. It's really hard to get this intact and not broken. It's very delicate. So let's ask the age-old question. Does it scale with the regular Cobra Trooper? As you can see, they're relatively the same size. Maybe the Tele-Viper is a hair taller. But the real question is, so do the heads from the Tele-Viper fit on the Cobra Trooper? Let's find out. So let's find out. I had to heat up the Cobra Infantry Trooper to take the head off. So here's a comparison between the ball pegs. As you can see, the old classified figures have definitely a larger peg. I've been saying this for all the new classified figures, that the ball pegs have changed since the old classifieds to the new ones, the recent ones, that the ball pegs definitely are smaller, so there's no way in heck that the heads will be interchangeable, which is super disappointing. Maybe you can do some dremeling to make the ball peg a little bit bigger so it'll fit. So here's a quick size comparison with the Tele-Viper, with the Valkyrie, Baroness, and Steel Core Beachhead mashup, Kit Bash. The Cobra Blues match very well with the Cobra Trooper and the Valkyries with the Tele-Viper. And here is another Viper to compare to. The Range Viper with the Tele-Viper. The size, Tele-Viper is a little, I think they're about the same size. Let's take a little closer look here. They look about the same size. So final thoughts of the Tele-Viper and Trouble Bubble. So I'm going to go for the negatives right now. I've already mentioned it in my review that these missiles do not stay on the Trouble Bubble itself. You need some sticky tack to keep it on, which is a huge miss. The landmine, I'm not 100% sure where to put this. Let me know in the comment section down below, or I'll find out later on the internet. So the figure is amazing. That is the highlight of this set, is definitely the figure. 100%. The extra heads are super cool. You know, they want people to army build this very expensive set. Hopefully it'll go on sale or somewhere I can get it for a better price, because I live in Canada and everything is expensive here. Hopefully, like I was saying, that they could vintage card this guy so we can get more of them, because he is an army builder and I would love to get just him by itself. So I want to thank everybody who has subscribed to my channel. You guys are awesome. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, make a comment down below. Yo Joe and Cobra!